Hey there guys, it's me Hanelian, back on our video, and today we're going to be seeing what would happen if China made its own little empire. There's going to be some twists and some stuff going on, like no alliances, like major alliances, but there's still going to be some little alliances. I count it as little because some countries are kind of weak in this alliance. Russia, Belarus, Kazakhstan, I don't know how you pronounce it, and Kyrgyzstan, and soon who's going to be leaving is Armenia. China, of course, is gonna, just look up north, and they see a pretty weak country with basically just plains and nothing else. And it just doesn't take long. It literally just doesn't take long. I mean, the country just falls off pretty quickly. We should not be shocked right now. Anyway, so China's looking towards its west. And they don't declare war in Kyrgyzstan because, something might happen with CSTO, but Tajikistan pretty much falls. So yeah, Tajikistan is now a puppet state of China, and now China is building up some armies around here. So just a bunch of soldier buildup around the border of Kyrgyzstan, and Russia knows what's going on because Russia, well, something's going on. To make it a little bit realistic, I guess let's just have some wars that's going on in our timeline. Like Russia is invading Ukraine right now, or Syrian civil war, but we just gotta throw some stuff away in trash, just pretend it's not there. But sometimes we gotta bring back that trash. Anyway, so China over here just instantly sends in a lot of troops into this mountainous country, which yeah, I'm pretty sure they're all from Xinjiang or Tibet. Probably very experienced because this area is very mountainous. Well, not Xinjiang, but mainly just Tibet or Tibet. I don't know. English is an obnoxious language. So yeah, that's the peace treaty right there. And I don't know what to do with the exclaves and enclaves over here in this area. So I just forgot what they look like on the map because I don't really care about them. But I guess sometimes it's better to care than not care. So Russia is furious, but they still fight in Ukraine, and they're still losing. So now to get a break away from Central Asia, China starts looking towards its southeast, and yeah, the United States would definitely get involved. But we're just gonna, get some realism out of the way, and just, yeah. Taiwan probably would not fall that quick, but, we just gotta speed it up real quick, because, I don't really have that much time today, because, I have a plan, which is recording a couple of videos. So we gotta get this out here, we gotta get this out here. So basically, yeah, it's official. China officially has the ROC, so there's no more ROC in this universe, which is unfortunate for the United States and the West and Japan. So yeah, so now China is looking towards its south over here. They're looking at Laos and Myanmar. So of course China's gonna have one of its best times in its life. They're pretty big countries. No, not really Laos or Lao. Dude, what is it, dude? Is it Lao or Laos? I'm gonna pronounce it as Lao. I think it's Lao. So yeah, Myanmar's. It's not really shocked that Myanmar is gonna fall quicker than Lao. They're both pretty poor countries and pretty weak. They don't really have that good of a military. So yeah, Myanmar's in a pretty bad state in this universe, and we're gonna teleport all of that into this universe as well. That's pretty crazy. And this is the peace treaty right here, and oh my goodness, the borders look ugly. Basically, just fix that problem. Let's just go ahead and declare war on some other countries. But first, Myanmar, this remaining part of Myanmar and Thailand decide to unite. And this remaining of Laos decides to unite with Vietnam. And so now Vietnam and Thailand finally border, and China knows what's going on, as they assume that they know what's going on, and it's true. Thailand and Vietnam knows what's going on. Because why is Laos so cut deep into, around, the heart of Laos? So they decide to go to war with Vietnam, and Thailand gets involved. So it just, yeah, that happens. The jungles fall down pretty quickly, just like the Amazon rainforest soon. And yeah, it's not going too well for these countries. China was ready, but these guys are also pretty ready, so they easily just do a little funny knockback to the Chinese troops, and even start to push into a little bit of Laos and Myanmar. So it's going, yeah. So China instantly gets mad when they see a blue on the map. So they're like, whoa, 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 buddy, whoa, 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 get out of here, get out of my country. And maybe do some propaganda posts about you know, the countries that they're fighting at in Vietnam and Thailand, which everyone in the country knows that they're lying. I mean, it's not like some random guy, let's say maybe an American tourist or a couple American tourists, decided to show everything bad about this. So yeah, China decides to cut these two countries away from each other, and they're like, okay, Vietnam surrenders, but you know, Thailand doesn't surrender. I mean, they still got a bunch of land left. I mean, that's kind of a lot of land to surrender for. Then Vietnam's like, wait, never mind. They get back into the war. I don't know how that happened. See, they don't want to abandon Thailand. They gave up too easily, just like I did on this channel. Yeah, it's constant. It's just constant. They keep going back and forth. A lot of counterbacks and stuff like that. It's just not good. So China is like, okay, fine, let's just do, you know, a peace treaty. And so yeah, that's a peace treaty right there. They get northern Vietnam and just a little bit of land from Thailand, but it's not that much. Oh, you know how I said CSTO existed? I don't know too much about CSTO, so well, you just got Russia and Belarus involved. And to make things more interesting, well, yeah, Ukraine's on the purple team, which is kind of interesting. I wonder why. So, yeah, you know, the current war in Ukraine, well, I mean, it's just, yeah, so Russia tries to go ahead and deal with this pretty quickly, but, you know, it still goes pretty slow. But, Russia over here, well, they just noticed that Kazakhstan, you know, they're in trouble. But they can't really do anything about it because, you know, China's going all crazy about it with their very, very powerful military. So that's kind of, you know, not good news. And then China does this little thing where they encircle this lake. I forgot what it's called. And, you know, Kazakhstan just, like, kind of just, you know, just falls quickly. It's not really shocker because it's just a very, very, you know, just, it's pretty empty, I feel like, in most parts of the country. So China does a little bit of a funny thing over here. So China thinks everything's going on well because, you know, Russia's invading Ukraine, but, you know, Russia finally does a little bit of a counterback, which they just, you know, does this. They try to get a bunch of their land back. They get their lake back, but, you know, they finally, yeah, now just, yeah, it's not going too hot for the Russians still, but, I mean, yeah, China still just got a bunch of land, but then the Russians finally kick out these Chinese away, so North Korea is pretty sad. Did I just say it? North Korea? What am I saying anymore? These guys keep looking back at each other because, you know, India is like, oh, my bad, I do something wrong. And so India is now getting involved in this war because, you know, Russia and India are pretty good allies. So yeah, now looking forward. Well, yeah, it's just a lot's going on. Belarus is like, I don't want to be in this war, and Kazakhstan surrenders again, but it just, you know, yeah, all these Russian troops start flooding in pretty quickly, which, I mean, China's like, come on, dude. So, let's look down south. China starts putting in a lot of troops over here. They invade Bhutan, and they start looking at Jammu and Kashmir, but Pakistan doesn't get involved because, let's say, something else is happening. I don't know, maybe they're getting involved in another civil war or something like that. But yeah, let's just say Pakistan's in a civil war in this universe. I don't know. So China looks over here at its east and starts cutting off a lot of Russian troops from this southern part. And, you know, Russia, and then China over here starts, you know, just makes a pretty big front line over here, in which they know Siberia is basically just forests and ice. So China over here looks like Kazakhstan for once and is like, you know, whatever. Just let us take your homeboy, please, Russia. And then, you know, Russia's like, okay, we gotta give up on the Ukrainian war, so, Ukraine's left alone, I guess. India over here makes a little bit of a comeback over here, just like, come on, bro. But, you know, they still kind of fail to, like, kind of just get some of this land back, but, you know, they beg for Bangladesh because, like, they can't really pass through anywhere, so Bangladesh agrees. And Deshi troops come over here and just like Bengali, yeah, they're called Bengali. I forgot for a second. So some Bengali troops come over here, but it's not that much. So some Chinese troops come over here and it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, it's not gonna go too well for 100 million people. It's kind of shocking that 100 million people live in this tiny little area. Yet my state is bigger in land area, but it's so much smaller in population. And if you're new to this channel, yes, I am American. I mean, if you couldn't tell by my accent, then I don't know how. But you know, Bangladesh slowly slows, and it's not. Yeah, it's the Indians are not excited, or Bengalis, yeah. And Russia does that, and does some of this. And Russia and China both agree it's time to stop with this war, which Russia, you know, they agree, but not India. India and China are still gonna go at war, I guess. India and China just like, okay, buddy. And then Pakistan's like, okay, fine, finally, for once, or, you know, just, yeah. So now, India and China both take over Jammu and Kashmir, and a couple weeks later, this is what's happening. So India, it's not going too well for them. It's not going too well for them. A bunch of Chinese troops just flood into the west over here, the east, my bad. And then some Pakistanis and Chinese push into New Delhi, which is not too good. And China and Pakistan both know there's a lot of population around this area, so that's what they're trying to do. They're going to try to capture a lot of India's population over here. I think it's over half of the population, so that's pretty crazy. But you know, it's pretty slow because you know it's just the Himalayas, so and other mountains, which yeah, they can't get this other area because it's just literally mountains. And India starts to fall pretty quickly with a bunch of rebellions and stuff. You know, little other Indian ethnic groups just like wanting freedom, and India just agrees to surrender. So yeah, let's look at the peace treaty. So yeah, this is what the heck just happened. Yeah, China's looking pretty scary right now. So China just got all this little land right here in the west and the east. I meant the east in Siberia. And got all this land over here in Central Asia. They even made so Kyrgyzstan and Tajikistan got into their territory officially, and they even bought some land from Uzbekistan, plus in their peace treaty saying we won't invade you. And then over here down south, China incorporated all of Bangladesh and Bhutan and eastern India, and Pakistan over here. They got a bunch of land. I mean, like. Yeah, and I forgot to make New Delhi kind of a Chinese little occupied territory, just like how East and West Berlin was in the you know, from the 40s, no, from the 50s to the 80s. So yeah, this is how it is right here. If you guys enjoyed this video, then make sure you leave a like and, you know, subscribe if you want to see more of this type of stuff. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next unrealistic mapping video.